Hello and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome back to the show. Woo-hoo! It's episode 201, a new era.
New era, here we go.
Here we go. We are going to revisit our producer spotlight segment this week and learn about a new producing duo. Not new to the show, producing duo. But before we do, we have to check in on the battle we set up last week.
Yes, we need our results. So last week, or not 2 weeks ago, we told you all about 10 different songs and made you choose who was the winner of each battle. So now it's time to find out how you voted.
Let's find out. So in our first battle, the time battle, which was Jonghyun v Twice, the winner with 57% goes to Jonghyun, 234.
Right. Nice.
Our next battle was the measurement battle, TXT v Akmu.
Mm-hmm.
And with 61%, TXT gets that one for 20 centimeters. Then we had our two people battle. This was XOSC v 2PM. And once again, with 61% of the vote, XOSC takes that one.
It must have been those saucy lyrics.
Must have been. For the run battle, we had Stacy Run to You versus NCT 127 Run Back to You. And with 66%, Stacy takes that battle.
I thought that was going to be a close one. I saw some people on Discord being like, how can I choose?
Our final battle, the party battle, Big Bang versus J Park, was not close at all. With 90% of the vote, Big Bang wins.
All right. Sorry to J Park.
Yeah, sorry to J Park. But that is not surprising, I would say.
Not surprising.
I feel like of all those 10 songs, that J Park was the only one that I was like, meh, I don't care about this song.
It just sounded like a lot of other songs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's your results. Thank you to everybody who voted. So we didn't have to. Yeah. All right. Today, we are going to do our second producer spotlight. The first time we did this was for SM super producer Kenzie. Mm-hmm. And she had an absolutely overwhelming discography of hundreds of songs.
Yeah, because she had been working for SM for like 20 years.
Yes.
And then she recently started writing for other people as well. So like her deep dive was intense.
Yeah, and it was a little hard because she had only ever done a single interview.
Yes.
And it was like hard to find out things about her. So I looked at our list of producers we wanted to look into, and today's producer duo has come up like in last week's episode, and I think the episode before, like their name keeps coming up. So I thought, let's figure out what the deal with Eyed Pilseung is before their discography gets too overwhelming. Let's just check in on them now. So that's what we're doing today. Great. We're going to learn about Eyed Pilseung. So let's get into it. Once again, like for the Kenzie Deep Dive, I've made a spreadsheet of all of the credits I could find of them and tried to look for patterns and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'll link that if you're a person who likes to look at my spreadsheets. Of course, you may see this one. But let's see. So who is Eyed Pilseung? This is a producer duo, two guys, and they are responsible for a crazy amount of like undeniable, timeless K-pop bops that will live in infamy forever.
Absolutely. I think like very catchy songs is like a very definitive characteristic of them. Because like Kenzie kind of had like a wide range of type of styles, although I think she has like a distinct, like you can hear it and be like, is this a Kenzie song? But there are other, you know, like Shinsadong Tiger like loves a horn riff or whatever. And like, I don't know if I would say that they have a specific, like they always make this kind of song, except for the fact that it's always catchy as fuck.
Catchy. Mm-hmm. They're like, I think they're really good at melodies. Like we'll talk more about it as we go through, but like, I think they just have, the two of them have, just like a catchy music sensibility. Like I think that they are just, they're good at writing addictive, catchy melodies. Earworms. And I think they understand singers and like, they write great stuff. Mm-hmm. So they have had in their career so far 22 top 10 singles, including 6 number ones. And just to preface, for any rankings, chart rankings for this episode, I looked at the singles chart. because they write a lot of title tracks. Like at this point in their career, they mostly only write title tracks for people. So maybe the album they wrote the title track for went to number one. But since we're only looking at the song they wrote is what I went for.
I think that's a good parameters.
So I found 70 songs that were credited to both members, and 59 of them are under the name Black Eyed Pilseung. So some of them are before the time they coined the name, but it has both of them on the track.
They worked together to write it.
Yeah. And I think I have 70. I could have missed one because this was literally just me song by song cross-checking every credit that they both had to see the crossover. So I might have missed something, but I think I got them all.
Nice.
But we are only going to be talking about the songs that they wrote together. They both have a ton of credits with other people or by themselves. And I think a lot, like when I was looking at some Spotify playlists that people had already made of like Black Eyed Pilseung songs, there are some that is only credited to one of them. And they are great songs, but those don't count today.
Yes.
So Black Eyed Pilseung are 3-time composers of the year at the Gaon Awards in 15, 16, and 19. And they won a 2016 Mama for Best Producer. And they are also bosses because they established their own agency, High Up Entertainment, in 2017. And they manage a group called Sairo 415. And they debuted in 2019. And they also manage Stacy, who debuted in 2021. The mission statement of High Up Entertainment is young talents and young thoughts are gathered to maximize the potential talents of latent stars with fresh and new ideas.
Ooh, that's nice.
And according to an interview I saw of them giving a tour of their company, they think of themselves as fun, cool, friendly bosses who have like a laid back atmosphere and that everyone that works up at High Up is friends. And they think that they're fun bosses.
Well, we would have to ask Stacy what they think about that.
And High Up was bought by Kakao in 2021. So now they are one of many, many Kakao subsidiaries. And the two of them together describe themselves as opposite poles of a magnet. So they work very independently together.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Like they each have their own to-do list, right? They are responsible for different things, but they like put it together in the end. And
Hyolyn made a joke in an interview I saw that they only call themselves a team when they have to. But they seem like good buddies to me.
Yeah. Well, everyone at High Up is friends. So
yeah, exactly.
That has to include them.
And the name Black Eyed Pilseung, as I said in the 2002 episode when we were talking about soccer, Pilseung means certain victory. So it's just a pun on Black Eyed Peas and add a Korean word for victory in there for their cutesy little name. So the members of Black Eyed Pilseung, I guess we'll call them members.
Yeah, I like it. And then it kind of mirrors our regular deep dive format. It's good. It's good.
So the first member is Rado. He was born July 11th, 1984, and his birth name is Song Ju Young. And Rado is a shaved head, giant jacket kind of guy. Like that is his vibe. He has full sleeves of tattoos and his head is like shaved bald all the time. He's kind of tan. He's the one who goes on shows more often than they go on shows as a duo. He seems more comfortable with the camera than the other one does. And actually, Rado originally debuted in a boy group called Someday that debuted in 2009. It was a 4-member vocal, like a cappella, like sang-in group. But Rado left like barely a year in, and the other 3 made like 2 more albums without him. They did 3 albums total and had 4 OST appearances, including a song on Boys Over Flowers. And here's a clip of that. So yeah, they were like good singers.
So croony, but they do look like accountants.
They do. But after he left Someday, Rado put out an album called It's We with a rapper named Toki, which is spelled D-O-K number 2.
I've definitely on this show pronounced that dok too before.
I think I have too, but
yeah.
it's Doki, which
Fair
means rabbit. So,
Oh, cute.
and Doki continues to be like featured on a lot of songs that Rado writes. So like they're buds. And here's a little clip of Rado singing from the title track of their album. And the song is called So Nice. So he's a good singer, which I think informs a lot. Like I think as a singer, he can write for singers well, and it comes through.
Yeah, and that definitely I think probably factors into like how he writes his melodies, because he's gonna write something that is fun to sing.
Right. Yeah. So some songs that Rado wrote without Kyusung, the other member, so like just some of his other notable credits that are very notable. He wrote Troublemaker with Shinsadong Tiger and Ellie. He wrote A Pink My My, 4-minute Volume Up, also both of those with Shinsadong Tiger. He wrote A Pink Hush. He wrote Knock by Nasty Nasty.
Oh, that's such a good fucking song.
Such a good song. Such a good song.
Such a good song.
With Jungkook, and he also wrote Shannon Williams' song YY with Jungkook, who will come up again later. But yeah, so those are some things he's done by himself. Also, huge notable bops. Like,
yeah,
these dudes are staples. So the other member is Chae Kyu-sung, and his birthday is May 7th, 1984. They're both 1984 boys. And Kyu-sung is so adorable and shy and giggly. Like every single interview I saw with them, like his hand is always in front of his mouth because he's so shy. He's so shy. So that's why sometimes Rado goes on shows without him, because he's so shy.
Cute.
But he like wears cardigans and has a bowl cut. And like, I don't know, he's so cute. But he has an Instagram. Rado doesn't, but you can follow him on Instagram. He's at DEER_nose. So deer nose, and it's spelled like
the animal.
And he has a really cute fluffy cat that he posts lots of pictures and videos of.
Love a cat boy.
Love a cat boy. And he also appears to be the one of the two that plays the instruments, at least the guitar. And there's a lot of like heavily featured guitar in a lot of their music. And I think it's Kyu-sung who's doing the guitar parts. Some songs that he wrote without Rado, but most of them with Shinsadong Tiger, are Hyuna Bubble Pop,
wow,
Beast Fiction, Tiara Lovey Dovey, and Bo Peep. He wrote some songs on the 4-minute Heart to Heart album by himself. And then his biggest hit that he wrote entirely alone is a song called The One Who Loved Me by Hogak. So beautiful ballad stuff.
So dramatic.
Yeah, so dramatic. A lot of Kyu-sung's like solo credits were for OST like ballad stuff. Like I feel like Alone, that must be what his vibe is, like writing these beautiful ballads. So those are the two members of Black Eyed Pilseung, and what I learned about them from an interview I saw is that they met in 2008. And Kyu-sung says that he heard Rado sing and that he was, quote, pretty good. And Rado says that Kyu-sung used to have a bob haircut and that he was, quote, too handsome to be a producer.
Adorable.
And then they said, quote, we're the same age and at some point we just became a team.
Wow.
So that's it. That's the story.
It just happened very organically, I guess.
Yeah. And then when they were trying to like come up with a name, because they had written a bunch of songs together, they were trying to decide if it should be Rado and Kyu-sung or Kyu-sung and Rado. Mm-hmm. And then Kyu-sung said, we should have a name like the Black Eyed Peas. And then
it just became Black. Okay, let's do the Black Eyed Peas then.
Yeah.
I always want, because as we've said, we've known the name Black Eyed Pilseung for so long. And I've literally always wondered, like, why is it modeled after Black Eyed Peas? And
there you go.
There you go. It just is.
It just is. But also, I wanted to note that while going through all of this music, I think that there is an unofficial third member of Black Eyed Pilseung, and this is a guy named John Goon, and he has 27 song credits that he shares with these two. Like the last like 20, like I think the last 27 songs like that they've written have all had this guy John Goon writing the lyrics most of the time, and sometimes he has other producer credits, but he goes with them sometimes, it seems. And he's like a big dude who wears sunglasses inside. He used to be bald, and then last year he had like a little blonde like page boy haircut and a beard.
Oh, what a look.
Yeah, you can follow him on Instagram at JAEON_GOON_. But yeah, he like goes with them, and I'll talk about a TV appearance later in the timeline that he like was sitting, like when they were like Black Eyed Pilseung is here, he was like with them. So I think he like counts as an unofficial member of this little unit. And also there's a guy named Sam Lewis who wrote 14 lyrics for them between 2015 and 2016. Okay. So like those years they were working with Sam Lewis a lot.
Interesting.
Whoever that is. And that's it. There's your like get to know you of Black Eyed Pilseung. Got two dudes.
Sometimes
they're 36. They've written a lot of songs. They are friends,
and they're musicians in their own right.
Yeah. So now I was just gonna like go through an abridged timeline, pull out some highlights, talk about what their careers.
Yeah, we're not going to go through an itemized list of every song they've ever written, especially because like, especially in their early years, like they write kind of like for the same albums, or like they'll just write with like one artist and then write like 4 songs on that album or something. So we're just going to do some generalized information about each year of their timeline so far, and then pull out a couple of highlights, bops to talk about.
Yeah. So the first song that I found that they had ever been credited on together was a song called Finally by that guy Taegun, who we talked about in our shortest lived groups episode, I believe. He was like a random, or maybe it was in 2000. No, because 2009. It was just like this random dude, and he like claimed to be friends with one of the TVXQs, and that was like all he had going. And then he might have disappeared for drugs. I don't know if you remember this. But anyway, the first song that the both of them were credited on was a song for Taegun, but it was with Shinsadong Tiger. So I can only gather, based on a lot of their credits from 2009, that they were both working with Shinsadong Tiger on different projects, and then somehow ended up becoming friends and working together. But the first song that they ever wrote, just the two of them, was called While, and it is by Hwanhee. So this song came out in August of 2010, and like I said, it was the first credit that they shared, just the two of them, but they had not come up with their little name yet.
Yeah.
So Hwanhee is one of the members of Fly to the Sky, and this song was this was his 4th single released as a solo artist, and he's doing the like, I mean, Fly to the Sky were beefcakes. They were beefcakes, okay?
And this is very, like, Rain.
Yes.
Like, he's got his guns out the whole time. He's crooning up a storm, has some nice, like, smooth R&B choreo with it. And, like, you can see his abs through his shirt. Like, that's how tight the shirt is. What more could you ask for?
But, like, I feel like this song feels... The song feels slightly cheap because I feel like the quality of the like samples and the beat used are just like, they're not the most like high quality samples, but the singing is really good, and their ability to write good melodies is very like evident, and like to write for a crooner like Fly to the Sky, it all comes through, and like there's nice acoustic guitar and pretty solid piano in it, and it's a nice little start.
Nice.
For our Black Eyed Pilseung. And then on September 16th, 2011, Hugak released a song called Hello. So this song, like, it wasn't like a huge smash hit. It went to like 61. But the reason I bring it up is that in multiple interviews that I watched, when asking about like, what do you guys do or where did you come from? When Rado would give a list of songs that they've written, he would always say that this was the first one. So maybe this one hit enough that they could like claim that they wrote that, and
Yeah.
people will be like, oh, I remember that song.
Yeah.
So this is the first one that they like to publicly claim, I guess. And yeah, it's just a really lovely standard like piano ballad, and I think it speaks to their history in like Rado being a ballad singer and like
Absolutely.
writing for that before. Yeah, it's a thing that they're great at. And this music video is a really long, like first gen style, bloody dramatic story music video.
Oh wow, that's too bad because the little clip is super cute of like, oh, I think you're cute, man. Maybe I can hold your hand, and they like smile, and then it like cuts to like sweaty, bloody guy in an alley.
Yeah,
So oof,
because the gangsters,
beware.
he gets like beat with pipes.
There's always gangsters,
gangsters beating
and loan
people
sharks
with
with their
pipes.
big collars outside their jackets.
Yeah.
There's no winning.
So, neither of them have any writing credits for the year 2012 or 2013. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's when they went to the military.
Sure,
Makes
I think that's
sense to me.
That makes sense.
So then that brings us to 2014. And this is their like first year as Black Eyed Pilseung. So in 2014, they have 8 credits for the year. Mostly they wrote songs for Sistar and Teen Top, and they had 2 songs in the top 10, including a moment. July 14th, 2014, Sistar released Touch My Body. I mean,
Yolen's shorts are so long in that music video.
compared to these days.
No cheeks to be
No
seen.
cheeks, yeah. But yeah, this is a song that is going to like live forever. Like,
Yeah. This is such an iconic K-pop song that like everybody knows it, everybody loves it. It's still like a summer staple no matter how many years go by. I feel like it has, and I think you could probably say this about not all but a lot of their like top bops, is that they have a kind of timeless quality
Yeah.
about it. Like even though this song is from 2014, personally, I don't think it sounds dated.
Right.
Like, I feel like if you released it today, like, people would still be into it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there are, like, some instruments in it that aren't used as often, but I still think it would be successful.
Yeah.
Classic.
The like horn samples in it are used so cleverly. Like a lot of the way the song is built is like built out of these little like samples, but like they're arranged in such a cool way. And like, again, their ability to write for singers, that chorus is such a good showcase of Hyolyn and Soyu's voices.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really great. And like something about them, this seems like a good moment to talk about it, is that I feel like something about Black Eyed Pilseung is that even though we say on the show all the time that like K-pop is not a genre, it's an industry, because lots of K-pop
Yeah.
groups make all kinds of different music. But I think that the majority of Black Eyed Pilseung songs can only be described as K-pop. Like there is a small subsection of songs that like their genre is K-pop and they
Yeah.
can't be described any other way. And I think they know what that K-pop sound is, and they're great at
Definitely. Yeah.
delivering on it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that too at the beginning when we were just talking about them generally. I was like, is it that they have just like written so many songs that they have sort of defined what it means to be K-pop? Like they have created the K-pop sound, or did they just so intrinsically like understand the K-pop song sound that all their songs like fit that? And I don't know, maybe it's like a chicken
little
or the
of
egg
both,
kind
yeah.
of thing, like which came first, but it's undeniable.
Yeah, so Touch My Body is the first song that they like wrote under this name of Black Eyed Pilseung, and they're like so lucky and smart that like this is the song they chose to like brand themselves over, because it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it then made them really sought after producer hitmakers. That's very evident through the rest
Yeah.
of the years. So in 2015, they wrote 13 songs. They mostly wrote for Teen Top, Neil from Teen Top, his
Mhm.
solo album, Jang Hyunsung from Beast, the other half of Troublemaker,
Mhm.
his solo album. They wrote a bunch of the songs. And they also did GOT7's If You Do, and Twice's debut, like Ooh Ah. They
Yeah.
wrote that one too. And 5 of the songs they wrote this year were in the top 10, including, I wanted to call out, on March 30th, 2015, Only You by Miss A was released. So I just wanted to take a minute and call this out because this was Miss A's last song. I don't know if they knew that at the time, but it was Miss A's last song. I love this. This is one of my like favorite K-pop songs of all time. I'll talk about it later, but I love this song. And this, they're back at it with amazing horn samples, and this song also has one of the craziest like samples in it ever, where I can only gather, I'm guessing that it is James Brown from I Feel Good, where he goes, yeah! They like use that as like a drum beat in the song. Like just this like, yeah, yeah, like a bunch of times. And it's so strange, but it like works so well. So many of their songs have like something really odd, like somewhere buried in the mix. And it's like, that's so weird. How did you even think of that?
But I think, like you said, like the way that they fit their samples together is very clever. Like, I don't think that I've never heard one of their songs where I've been like, that doesn't belong.
Yeah. They're just smart and clever, and I like it. So then in 2016, they wrote 8 songs, and all of them were title tracks. So now they have established themselves as the kind of producers. They're not writing B-sides.
Yeah. Because the first few years, I also think it's interesting, like looking at your spreadsheet and seeing the variety of artists that they work with. The first 2 years, like 2014 and 15, is mostly just Sistar and Teen Top with a few exceptions. And it's like people that they've worked with before. And I think it's really interesting that they tend to stick to artists. They seem to have like favorite artists that they like to write for. But I think like after Touch My Body, after like Twice's debut was so popular, like after this Miss A song, now people are coming to them to be like, I want my title. Like I think that they've seen a surge and now they're getting like bigger clients.
And sought after or whatever. Yeah. So they had 3 number ones this year with Sistar's I Like That and TT and Cheer Up. And they also wrote A-Pink's Only One this year. And I'll get more into the A-Pink of it all in subsequent years, but that's good to point out. But
they went from Only You to Only One. Maybe this is why they need another lyricist.
There's a lot of like repeating titles on here as well. I do think there's a reason they hire out
other lyricists.
But for 2016, I wanted to call out April 15, the release of Cheer Up by Twice. So Cheer Up is officially their first number 1 single. Touch My Body only went to 2 as a single. So this is the first like number 1 single.
Nice.
And it was such a big deal that year and continues to be such a big deal. Like the shy of it all. And like this song was absolutely a moment.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Twice single. I mean, because I think that the cheer ups are atonal and flat, and it really bothers me, but it's a choice, okay?
Yeah, it was funny to like look through their early discography and be like, oh, you are largely the reason I did not like early Twice, but it's fine.
But what I think is really interesting about this is that with both the debut and Cheer Up and the next 2 Twice releases, and then they like took a break, I just think that it was really interesting and kind of uncharacteristically self-reflective of JYP to say, I'm not going to write the debut song for this group.
Yes.
Because most of the time, JYP dominates the writing on the first couple of albums for any of his groups.
Absolutely.
So I just think it was like an interesting moment of him being like, maybe for this girl group, I should outsource. Like, I don't know, just a rare moment of self-reflection from him.
Yeah.
Like,
that is interesting. I wonder what made him make that choice. Because, yeah, we've seen that in our, like, Rain Deep Dive, our GOT7, our 2PMs. Like, they have JYP all over them. Like, you can't get rid of them. To the point where we've been like, enough! Like, Wonder Girls, too. Like, everyone. So, yeah, I wonder what it was that said, you know what?
I should get these hitmakers to do it instead.
But it was a good choice because they made Twice a phenomenon right out the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right off the bat, right out the gate.
Out the gate, off the bat, what have you.
From the beginning.
So then in 2017, they only released 5 songs in 2017. Again, all title tracks. Like, they're only working when they have to for the good stuff. No more slumming it. They have 2 number ones this year, Sistar's Lonely and Twice's Likey. They also wrote WJS and Happy. They did the theme song for the show Idol School. They wrote a song for Davichi, a little return to the
ballad
singer
roots.
girls.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that happened in 2017 is June 17th, 2017 is the day they officially registered High Up Entertainment as a business. So now they have an agency, baby.
Awesome. And it's really cool too because like from here on out they're only going to write like 4 to 6 songs a year. So clearly they're making bank off those 4 to 5 songs a year. Like they only have to write 5 songs a year. Damn.
Yeah.
They write hits, y'all.
Hits, only hits.
Money making hits.
So in 2018, only 4 songs are written. But Chungha's Roller Coaster is one of them. They also wrote Khan's debut / only song, I'm Your Girl, an incredible song that we've talked about a million times.
It's like my
catchy,
favorite.
Beautiful, so, like great, just a great
It's so
song.
good. It's my favorite girl group debut, like maybe ever. R.I.P. Khan. You were too good for this world. Ugh.
They also wrote Hyolin's CC. Was that her first like solo after Sistar song, or was like Bay first, or was that the same album?
I think they were released as singles, but I don't know if that was her very first. No, Lonely is her debut song.
Okay. Yeah, she did stuff like solo stuff still when she was still with Sistar. But anyway, point is, after Sistar, Hyolyn still called them up and said, can I have a single, please?
Hyolyn and Black Eyed Pilseung seem to be buds, which is cute.
They're definitely buds.
I want everyone to support Hyolyn.
Agreed. But the important thing I wanted to call out for 2018 was released on July 2nd, and that is A-Pink's I'm So Sick. So as I mentioned earlier in the episode, Rado had previously written really early A-Pink tracks. My My and Hush Hush are very, very early A-Pink songs. So like, I guess he had established some kind of relationship with them way back when. But this song, even compared to Only One, which they put out the year before, I feel like is a real shift.
Absolutely.
In the A-Pink discography, because as I said in the A-Pink deep dive, I think they put their baby image away with Love. Like that was the start of like, we are grown-ups now. But I think I'm So Sick was the start of this very specific
sound
and this like new version of A-Pink.
Yeah.
So with this
less
song,
bubblegum and more bite.
Yes. But like also the songs have this really specific sound that I feel like I've heard in no other songs except for the last 4 A-Pink songs, which Black Eyed Pilseung wrote. Like, and I think it's so interesting that if you listen to the other Black Eyed Pilseung songs that came out after this, like the other stuff they were doing, it all has like its own sort of sound. But the A-Pink stuff remains like weirdly consistent.
Yes.
It's like they're all chapters in like the same book.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. I feel like you could argue like I would be interested to like compare the songs that they've written for each artist, because I feel like, and this must come down to them like being musicians and understanding how to write for singers, but I feel like they really understand a group's vibe. Like they wrote like all of their Twice songs hit the same, not literally the same note, but the same vibe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they all hit the same kind of energy. And then with this new era of A-Pink, I feel like I don't know if they had like talked to the members about like what kind of era do you want this to be? What kind of like new concept is it? But they figured out what A-Pink wanted to be now, and they consistently deliver that same like color to their songs, which is very interesting. I think that like speaks to their like knowledge and versatility as writers, because they don't just write good songs and then shop them around. They seem to write specifically for those
like
artists.
for people. Yeah, and it's really interesting because I can only assume, like based on looking at the data, that like whatever this A-Pink partnership is like works very well, and that everybody is very happy with it, because after this point they only write for their own artists and A-Pink.
Yeah, except for A-Pink. I love that they have some special little love for A-Pink, because it's like, we're only going to focus on our own stuff, but we'll always write a title track for you.
Right,
like,
because we've started this thing together and we have to like finish.
Yeah. It must be a cool collaboration
something
between them, which is very exciting and like A-Pink deserves.
Yeah, love it. So just wanted to call out the relationship of like Black Eyed Pilseung's like hand in this post like, you know, like 8 years and up of A-Pink has belonged to them. And I think it's really cool. So in 2019, they again only wrote 4 songs.
Living the dream.
They wrote Chunga's.
They have to work once every 3 months.
Yeah, it's great.
That is the dream.
So some of those were like Chunga's Gotta Go, Twice Fancy, which was interesting. I love that they came back for Fancy, because I think that was another group's turning point. Fancy is another turning point for Twice, because after TT, it seems like, I can only gather, all conjecture, that after TT, JYP was like, I want to do it now. Because then like Knock Knock Signal, like the next 3 Twice releases were like, they were JYP. And then he went back to where the money is.
Yeah. And I wonder if it had something to do with, because like you said, that marks like a new era of Twice. And it's like the first EP of theirs that I care for. And like, maybe it was something of like the members wanting to be like, okay, well, it's time for a new concept now. So like, let's discuss where we want this to go. Yeah.
They also again wrote for A-Pink to continue the thing, and then in an uncharacteristic move, they wrote the debut of a soloist named Ruan, a song called Beep Beep, and that was the only kind of outlier from that year.
But 2 of those 4 songs made it into the top 10.
Yeah.
So their ratios are quite impressive.
Quite good. And on February 12th, 2019 is the day that they debuted their first group, Sairo, which is stylized parentheses 415, because if you say those numbers, Sa-il-o, but if you say it Sairo, that means between. Oh. So it's like a cool little
play on
word title. And this is 2 boys. Their names are Hyunso and Inte. And they actually write almost all of their songs.
Oh, wow.
Black Eyed Pilseung has written 2 of their songs, but the 2 of them have written all of the other ones.
Fun.
And they're very vocal focused. Like, they kind of remind me of an updated version of the group Rado started in.
Nice.
Like, but there's just 2 of them. And they currently, as of this recording, have released 7 singles, 1 EP, and done 3 OST appearances.
Nice.
So they're working. First group at High Up.
Amazing.
They did it. They're bosses now. So then that brings us to 2020. And again, in 2020, they didn't do much other than debut their girl group, which we'll talk about in a second. But they wrote A-Pink's Dum Dum to keep the saga going. Mm-hmm. And they wrote the Refund Sisters song, Don't Touch Me. And those songs went to 1 and 2, respectively. But the big thing in 2020, of course, on November 12th, they debuted their very first girl group, Stacy, with a song they wrote themselves called So Bad. So, yeah, Stacey's a 6-member girl group. We've talked about them a bunch since they've debuted because they've been a smash hit. They're doing great. This song only got to like 150 something, but the subsequent Stacey singles that we've talked about have been
very,
huge.
very successful. And I think Stacey is a good example of what you were saying earlier, how like some of Black Eyed Pilseung songs are just K-pop. Like you can't really describe them in any other way. And I think that's been like the point of Stacey. Like all of Stacey's songs, I don't think you could describe in any way other than it's K-pop.
Yeah. And Black Eyed Pilseung has written 90% of all of the Stacey songs so far. Their most recent album, YoungLove.com, half of the songs were outsourced. But up until that point, they wrote every single one of them, like had it.
So Stacey is like definitely a specific project of theirs.
It's their group. Which is cool because I also think if you've like taken time to listen to the Stacey albums, like they really do like showcase their versatility as composers because like not every song is a title tracky K-pop song. They definitely take a couple weird swings at some interesting stuff. Like the song, I think I talked about it in my end of the year B-sides, possibly. Their song Love Fool. It's like weird, easy listening K-pop. I love it. It's so great. It has like 70s vibes that are really interesting. So they're great. I'm very proud of them that their first girl group is like
such a smash,
cool, great girl group.
And I think it speaks to how well they understand the music that they write and the singers they write for.
Yeah, definitely. And Stacey has excellent singers.
Oh, so
like they did
those
a
high
great
notes
job
are insane.
casting. So in 2021, they exclusively wrote for Stacey with a bunch of songs on their first 2 albums, Statum and Stereotype. A bunch of them reached the top 10. They also wrote 1 song for Sairo. And then the one thing I was going to call out is on December 18th, 2021, they released a song called I Still Love You by a project group called Toyote. So this song was written for a few episodes of Yoo Jae-suk's show Hanging With You. It's a reality show that's been on for quite a few years, and a lot of the time the subject of the episode is him creating stupid
project groups. He
He
loves a project group.
So this is a project group with Yoo Jae-suk and Haha from Running Man and former Lovelyz member Lee Mi-ju. And it's supposed to be a parody of Coyote because it's a girl and 2 boys. And they had Black Eyed Pilseung come and write a song for them. This is the clip I talked about earlier where Jonggun was like the 3rd person on the episode when they came to meet with Black Eyed Pilseung. So you can watch those episodes and see them if you want to. And this was the 3rd song on their discography that they had written like for the purpose of a show. And in all of those things, they appeared on said show. So if you want to see them, they wrote the Idol School theme song and had to like do an episode with Heechul about writing the theme song. And then for the Refund Sisters thing, only Rado showed up for the Refund Sisters thing. But like, you know, they did the whole like meet and talk about the song you're going to write or whatever. So if you want to see them, those are 3 times they appeared on television. And then that brings us to this year. And so far this year, they've again like been writing for their Stacey, and they wrote A Pink's Dilemma to continue our A Pink saga. And Run to You is up at number 4. So that's their Stacey's highest charting single so far. And I also saw an incredibly adorable clip the other day that was Stacey had won a trophy for, I think, for Run to You. And during the encore stage, they FaceTimed Rado on a tablet, and he's like singing and dancing. Like he was so
cute.
He
is a fun boss.
Yes, he is a fun boss.
That makes me so happy. Oh, I'm so happy for Stacey. They really lucked out. Getting cast by these boys, these men.
Yeah, so that brings us
they seem like good dudes.
I think they seem like good dudes, and they write great music.
They love Sistar, they love Hyolyn, they love A Pink. I have no complaints.
Yeah,
they wrote Troublemaker.
These are people whose judgment I trust.
Yeah,
so
They launched the new era of Twice, for which I am eternally grateful. We
Yeah.
have so much to be thankful for. Black Eyed Pilseung.
Yeah. So that brings us to today, and we only have the future to look forward to and see what kind of bops they're going to write. But yeah, that's the story of Black Eyed Pilseung so far.
I love it. I'm especially excited to see, with the success of Stacey, if they'll be able to grow their company and debut more artists, because obviously like they're putting all of their composing energy into Stacey right now, but they write such good music that like I would love to see what else they do, right? I'm excited.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up, just for context sake, in case you didn't catch them as we were talking about it, I'm just going to run through a list of the top 10 songs that they've written so you can really let it sink in how much
All the
this is.
hits.
So their number one songs are Cheer Up, Sistar I Like That, Twice TT, Sistar Lonely, Twice Likey, and the Refund Sisters Don't Touch Me. And then the top 10s are Beast Breath, Sistar Touch My Body, Teen Top Missing, Neil Love Killer, Miss A Only You, Teen Top Ah Ah, God 7 If You Do, Twice Like Ooh Ah, A Pink Only One, Chunga Roller Coaster, A Pink I'm So Sick, Chunga Gotta Go, Twice Fancy, A Pink Dum Dum, Stacey ASAP, and Stacey Run to You.
Woo!
Those are all such good songs.
They're all such good songs. Like not one of these songs do I dislike.
So speaking of such good songs, we both tried to take a look at these 70 songs and like quantify our 5 favorite songs.
It was hard to pick.
It was pretty hard. I mean, my like first two went down so fast. And then from there I had to like think about it for a second. But the really, really easy choice for me, number one with a bullet, is God 7 If You Do. I said it on the God 7 episode. I think that is one of my favorite K-pop songs of all time. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. And I love it because it's also kind of an outlier. Like I didn't percentage it out, but I feel like they write for girl groups more often than they wrote for boy groups.
Do. With the exception of Teen Top.
Yeah. But it's my favorite God 7 song. It's such a good song. I love that they're responsible for it. So catchy, so good. Such a great melody. So that was a really easy choice.
Nice.
And then my second choice, as I brought up earlier, Miss A Only You. I loved that song. And the day the music video came out, I think I watched it like 15 times. And then I watched like every single reaction video that anyone had put out for it. I was just obsessed. I was just obsessed. And I miss so much having grown up girl groups. It is such a bummer that there are like no grown up girl groups anymore.
It's true.
And instead they have all these like underage teenagers in tiny outfits making me uncomfortable. I want to see grown-ups doing grown-up things. And that Miss A song was absolutely that. And it's so catchy and so good. And I love that one.
It's a good one.
And then my next choice was Fancy. Of the Twice songs, I think I had to give it to Fancy. It was like going really back and forth between like TT and Fancy because I do love TT. And I feel like it was the first Twice song that I really liked and was like, oh, I could get into this. Like, this is good. But Fancy was such a moment.
It was.
So I went with Fancy. And then for the A Pink songs was also really hard to choose, but I went with percent one. Because that song is just so unique.
Oh yeah,
it's so unique.
It's so unique and so weird, and the little is so funny. And like again, a good example of them using weird, unexpected samples in a way that really works.
Yeah,
in an unexpected way.
Yeah. And then my number 5 choice, I went with Stacey ASAP. It was like my number 1 of 2021. Just think that is a perfect, extremely catchy, very like modern today's version of a K-pop song. And I think it's great. So those are my top 5.
A beautiful, beautiful selection. No bad choices.
Thank you.
No bad choices. Okay, my number one song was I Like That by Sistar. And that kind of like what you were saying earlier, like this was a bit of an outlier like for Sistar. Like
Yeah.
it's a huge departure from their normal sound. And I remember when that song came out, I was obsessed with it. Like I watched every version of it. I thought that like, I was like, oh my God, how would we even do this in dance class? Like I bet I could convince Uno to do a heel in something, but like the fabric is too complicated. It's too complicated. But the dance is so good. And like, I love this song. It was like one of the first Sistar songs that I bought. And it's so good.
Another great example of really cool, like the horn samples. And there's also like a, hey, like there's a lot of like spoken weird vocal things happening. And that song is like so strangely like fast paced. Like the underlying of it is like, it feels like you're running really fast, but like the dance they did to it was like very
really
like slow and strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just very like strange, but it worked so well. And I really love their ability to usher in new eras for these girl groups.
That is
I think it's really fun.
at.
I think it's really fun. And my second choice had to be on my list. I'm Your Girl, Khan.
Yeah.
That song is so good. I own it. I listen to it still a lot. It was like a dance I wanted to learn. I just thought everything about that girl group debut was perfect. It was just a little duo. And I was like, to this day, devastated that they never did anything else.
Yeah.
Because it was so good. It was so good. And then for the A-Pink songs, I had to choose I'm So Sick.
Yeah.
I love that one. And again, it is like the ushering of a new era. So I just love that is like Black Eyed Pilseung's thing. They can redefine a girl group and they like bring in such fun, sexy, mature, like themes to their melodies, but like it just fits so well with whatever the girl group already was. And like, it's lovely. And I love that song. It's so catchy. It's so good. Choreo is so fun. And then my number 4 pick, because I had to have my Hyolyn on there, I chose Cece, Seesa, because this is her booties out on the beach, and it's just like a fun, like I just love my Hyolyn. I love her. So I had to shout her out. And then my number 5 pick, I chose Fancy as well, because that is kind of the only one of their Twice songs on the list that I enjoy. But again, the ushering of a new era for a girl group, like that is, I think, one of the coolest things about Black Eyed Pilseung and their like impact on the K-pop industry is the way that they've been able to help shape these different girl group images in a way that like grows the image of the group and like opens the group up to so many different like possibilities in their sound. And without Fancy, we wouldn't have all of the beautiful the Twice songs that I have come to know and love.
True.
So it had to make the list.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. And you can check out all 70 songs in a YouTube and a Spotify playlist. The Spotify one might be short a few because there are a couple of hella randos on this list that sometimes don't show up on Spotify, but check them out. I had a really great time like looking at this discography as a whole, and like I said, they like seem like cool, nice guys. They're like only 38, like they're not old. They're like I'm just looking forward to like the future of them as CEOs of a company that are like putting out smash girl groups of their own. And I think it's neat. So looking forward to more from Black Eyed Pilseung, and I will keep appreciating the timeless K-pop pops they've already given us.
That never go out of style.
Never. And with that, we'll be right back with our random game. All right, we are back. And this week we got a real
a true random group.
A really random group. This is a girl group called LPG, which stands for Lovely Pretty Girls. And this group has had 3 separate iterations, starting in 2005. In 2005 to 2009, it was a 4-member girl group. And then from 2010 to 2012, it was a 6-member girl group. And then from 2014 to 2017, it was a 9-member girl group. And there's no overlap between any
Yeah.
of those generations. They're like
time,
three separate
yeah.
groups.
The only thing they have in common is that they're under the same company, Chan 2 and Chan 2 Productions, and they have the same name, LPG. But none of those, they're self-contained.
Yes.
I guess. But supposedly this group was inspired by the success of a semi-trot singer, Jang Yoon-jung. And the name, Lovely Pretty Girls, references the fact that several of, I'm assuming the original lineup, were pageant contestants. 2 of them competed in the Miss Korea.
Yeah, so they had a lot of different random like album releases, different random controversies from music videos being too spicy or like people quitting.
They seem to have gained some media attention for different comebacks. Like you said, some of them were controversial, and then like their debut was called Can Can, and it was a song that was performed in the Can Can style, and the like novelty of it got picked up on by like media, but it wasn't a hit. Like none of their songs seemed to be really successful. They just had like some attention on them every once in a while, but it doesn't always really seem to be positive attention, unfortunately.
No.
They do have a song though called I'm Sorry I'm a Nuna, which I think is hilarious. And it's about a woman who is sad that the younger guy she's into only sees her as an older sister. But I just think that's hilarious.
Sorry, I'm a Nuna. But their most popular music video that we're going to watch today is for their song called Angry, which is a Korean remake of an Australian song from 2005. And said Australian song samples an Italian song from the 50s called We No Speak Americano. So I'm very curious about this. It's their most popular music video by like 1 million views. So my guess is there's going to be like boobs in this.
Yeah,
because usually with these like very tiny unheard of groups, if they have like a weirdly way too popular music video, it's probably for kind of gross reasons.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. But if you want to watch Angry / We No Speak Americano Korean version, you can pull it up and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, this song is only 2 minutes and 45 seconds long.
All right.
Okay, so we're seeing the different members in like different... Okay, there's 5.
And they all have like ginger or blonde like hair.
Yeah. One of them in a tight little bowl cut. And so we're like cutting between them in different rooms of the house and them like doing the choreo. And the vibe for the choreo is like black short shorts with striped tops, either black and white or red and white.
And yeah, there's a really grainy like Gaussian blur around the majority of most of these shots that's making the music video like overall very blurry.
Yeah.
And we're getting like butt close-ups and
yeah.
Okay. They're doing this very awkward, like spinny arm thing over and over and over again. I like the colorful eyeliner and stuff in these close-ups.
Except one of these girls is wearing literally yellow blush, and that's gross.
But that melody, that's like
something
the most,
else.
like,
yeah.
first gen-y, trotty like melody. It's in 1 million billion songs.
Okay, there's a lot of wigs in this music video, I think, because I think they're showing us different members. Actually, I can't tell if they're showing us the same member with different hair or if they're different members.
Oh, I hate that yellow
blush. The yellow blush
so
is
much.
Gross. You already gave her that terrible haircut, and then you also put her in yellow blush. Rude. She's supposed to be a lovely, pretty girl.
Oh,
okay, but this dance is
awkward.
bad.
It's way too awkward. And it's not even like super sexy.
No.
It's just like mostly awkward.
They just keep like zooming in on their butts. Oh my God, this is the only move in this choreo aside from when they like touch their boobs.
Yeah, they're
This
just like
arm
doing really
thing.
big like cha-cha arms, but like
the way that their fingers are like splayed
Spread.
out. I mean, here's the Italian part, I guess.
Oh shit, and
Wow,
it's
and
over already.
over. See, this is like when you see a movie that's less than an hour and a half. When you see a song that's like less than 3 minutes long,
It's not a great
it's probably
sign.
not a good song.
But yeah, that was LPG.
Well, that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happens in the random game sometimes. All right, it's weekly recommendation time. Do you have anything that you want to recommend to the listeners this week?
Well, our dear leader Onu
Mhm.
has had a solo comeback in the time that we were away. The leader of SHINee, Onu Lee Jinki, put out his second solo EP, which is called Dice. And this is totally different from his first release, which was like fully ballads, only ballads, and he didn't even like go on music shows to promote
he
it.
went straight to the military.
Yeah, he just put it out. It was all sad songs, and then he went to the military. But this is like fun, and there's choreo to it. And I think he's already done with his promotion. I think he only did like a week of promos. But he did perform Dice, and I think On My Way was
That
the
sounds
B-side
right.
that he did. So he did do a B-side, and I really liked the On My Way stages, like, because he is like standing at a microphone with like female backup singers, and it gave very like Jong white t-shirt vibes. But then like Dice is like a full choreo, like super fun song.
Also, don't cry. Did you see that the music stand that he used was a Dreamgirl music stand?
No,
It was. Because they were like engraved on the bottom and everybody like saw he was using the fucking Dreamgirl microphone stand.
Jinky, so sentimental. Oh, I love our dear leader. But yes, and the whole EP is very nice. It's like groovy and fun, and each song is a little bit different. I think I described it to you as kind of like a bridge between like She Is and Bad Love, like
Jung and Key's albums, like
yes.
in between those.
And it definitely like still I think fits with the general like vibes of SHINee's solo work, and it's just really fun to see the way that they continue to influence themselves.
Yeah. Well, my recommendation is extremely adjacent because I was going to recommend something that Jinky did for promo, which was he did a Hello 82 video, which is a channel we've talked about before. They do like idol games that are usually language based, which is always really fun and interesting. So he did a tongue twister game on Hello 82 with 4 different Shawls who speak different languages. And I don't think they knew that Jinky was going to be there. And everybody's just like very surprised and giggly and happy. And I think that that's one of my favorite genres of idol content is the kind where the fans are like playing a dumb game or doing something or being surprised by the idol. It's just really fun. And like they pulled no punches. They like absolutely destroy. Like he does not do very, like they destroy him. They don't let him win at all, which I think is really fun. And it gave me a giggle this week. So I wanted to recommend that.
Nice.
As
And they
something
all
nice.
wear like really cute coordinated shawl outfits, and they're just so precious. Because I remember Key did a similar something where he like surprised some shawls, but they just came. They had no idea what was going on. And like these girls were like dressed
They were ready.
in their pearl aqua, looking so cute.
I loved it. I loved it so much. And also like this isn't a recommendation, but I just wanted to like say on the show that I'm okay because 2 crazy things happened to my like to alt groups while the show was away. Lay doesn't work at SM anymore. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We all knew what was going to happen. He doesn't need to be giving them a percentage of his money anymore.
That he definitely doesn't.
It's okay. And he made us know it was okay because he immediately released a like song for EXO along with the announcement, and it has EXO's voicemails at the beginning of it. Oh,
No!
He kills me.
He
He kills me, but I love him
so
because
soft.
he's so soft. And I love how much he loves being in EXO because that was like the whole point of his letter is like, I'm done with SM, but I will never leave. EXO, you understand me.
Yes. And he has always been the most insistent about like anytime he goes on anything as a soloist, he's like, I am a member of EXO.
Yeah. So I'm okay. I'm coping with that fine. Coping slightly less fine, but dealing with Nan leaving A-Pink. Like, she is not a member of A-Pink anymore, and that is a little hard to swallow. But Chorong said that it was okay, and we're going to be okay. And today is A-Pink's 11th anniversary, and A-Pink is a 5-member group now. Okay. I'm a little sad. It's fine. Time marches on and things change. And it was just kind of a slightly shocking bummer because we've talked about this on the show. It's like been a hot minute since a like second gen group has like where people actually leave or things actually disband, because most people have been leaving things open-ended. So it was kind of like it was a shock. It's been a minute since somebody in a group that I loved
definitively
has been like,
was
I'm done.
out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I'm okay. Thanks for checking on me. It's fine. Time marches on and we'll all be all right. But anyway, those are things that happened when the show wasn't on.
That's big news.
Big news.
Big news.
But that is it for this week. Oh, and reminder, or not a reminder, new announcement. You don't know this. I'm not reminding you of it. I'm telling you for the first time. Next week, we will be doing a movie club episode because 17 is doing an encore showing of the 17 movie. So if you're listening to this episode the day it comes out, you might be able to still get tickets in your town for tonight or this weekend. So if you want to see the 17 movie or pirate the 17 movie before next week, just wanted to let you know that that's happening.
Yes. So if you don't get a chance to see it, don't worry. We will recap the movie for you. I think some people don't listen to our like movie club, book club episodes because they think they need to have seen the thing, but you don't need to have seen the thing. We will tell you all about the thing.
We'll tell you about the thing.
So no worries whether or not you can see it. That is what we're doing next week. So if you have seen it already, if you saw it in the first run, or if you get a chance to see it this weekend and you have something to say about it, please email us or call our voicemail, leave us a voicemail, and with any of your thoughts or feelings about the movie, and maybe you'll hear it on the episode.
Yeah, and we won't record that till next week because even though we're seeing the movie tomorrow, we're going to take a minute.
Yeah,
so you have time.
So like if you have thoughts that you can get into us by Monday, do it. Send them in. We'd love to hear them.
Absolutely. And yeah, the place you can send those is at amakpoppod@gmail or amakpoppod@gmail.com is our email. 181 amakpop5 is where you leave voicemails. A PO Box 26096, Los Angeles, California 90026 for regular old mail. Patreon.com/AMAKPopPod. We are doing our first ever weekly Patreon series. I'm watching Queendom 2 and I put out an episode every week. Usually Patreon is monthly, but it's weekly.
Not this time,
now,
baby.
So we're watching a show.
You're getting even more for your money. So if you're not already signed up to Patreon, join us.
Yes, and there are 3 episodes out right now, and I am trying. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but I am trying to find a balance between recapping episodes if you're not watching the show. Like if you're not watching Queendom, you don't have time. I'm not watching that. I'll check out the performances. I'll tell you what happens in every episode, but I'm also trying to add enough of my own colorful commentary that if you are watching it, that it isn't boring to just hear me tell you what happened on every episode. So, Queendom 2.
Yes, I saw somebody comment that one of the episodes turned them into a Hyolan stan, and that's what I want to hear.
Yep.
So everybody watch Queendom, and if you're not watching Queendom, listen to Shannon recap it because everyone needs to stan Hyolan.
Agreed.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Agreed. All of that is true. So yeah, that's it. AMA K-pop Pod, you know all the places. Spotify and YouTube on our link tree for this week's episode playlist. Check out all the Black Eyed Pilseung songs and all our playlists for other episodes and everything like that. We'll be back next week to talk about the 17 movie. I literally can't wait to see them big. I'm so happy they did an encore. I really thought we missed it.
I know.
It's very exciting.
I like, oh my God. I mean, the Monsta X one was so intense to see their live stages like so big. And I know that we've seen 17 live many many times.
They're the group I've seen the
the
most times.
The most. I love it. I feel so blessed.
Yeah.
But also, I am going to bring tissues.
Yeah. That's smart. That's very smart. Oh my God. Also, I don't know if anybody's listening anymore. This is the end. But also, ahead, we've fucking got Twice tickets. So if anybody's going to the... It's somehow the gods were on our side this time.
The K-pop gods smiled upon us the first time we tried. We got locked out of the Twice concert, but this time we're going, baby!
So if anybody else is going to the Twice Encore at the stadium in May, let us know so we can meet and give you stickers or whatever. But I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. So look forward to an upcoming concert recap where I scream and cry about my beautiful Nayeon, and we all have a great, wonderful time.
It's going to be so great. All right. We'll see you next week for 17. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jonghyun, your inspiration.